I've said it in a video before a couple weeks back, and I'll say it again. We truly suck.
That's what she said.
This is Tim, this New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Oh, this one was an ugly one. This one was, I don't even know what to talk about this one. I don't even know how to talk about this one. I don't even know exactly how to address this one. Because of the fact that you knew it was going to be bad in Dallas. You knew it was going to be a little bit of a romp. You knew Dallas was gonna get right after that Eagle loss. There has been some speculation around the league that Dallas is actually better than Philadelphia, even though they had that loss to just 2 weeks ago to Philadelphia. But to put up over 600 yards to against the New York Football Giants, 49 points. Oh, I mean, you knew it was going to be bad. You're starting Tommy DeVito. You knew it. There was no way around it. We weren't prepared for Tyrod to go down. We weren't prepared for Daniel Jones to go down. We just weren't prepared in general as an organization because we still had salary cap issues. There's one dashing young YouTuber who talked about salary cap issues and how we were going to run out of money by midseason. That's why we made the Leonard Williams trade. You brought in Matt Barkley as well to back up DeVito. But it's not really going to matter. You know what? Barkley looks like Jarrett Lorenzen, the hefty lefty. I saw him on the sideline. And I saw Barkley on the number. And I'm like, who the hell is that? I'm like, is that Matt Barkley? I remember Matt Barkley in college, this young, stealthy little figure. Now he looks like the hefty lefty. Or should we just call him the huge righty? I mean, it was more of a fact. I think I'm more upset that there was infighting on the sideline. There was a little bit of a tiff going on between Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard. You kind of harken back to what Xavier McKinney said a couple of weeks or yet last week, saying that you got some people on this team that just aren't listening. They're not listening to the captains. You see Wink and Dable chatting as well on the sidelines for an extended period of time. Which was interesting because they had that conversation. They had a conversation going out at the half, before they went into halftime, and it seemed like the conversation continued back into the start of the third quarter. And for his defense to give up 600 plus yards, yes, I know the offense was really not clicking on any types of cylinder. But again, if you look at the Giants, only had the ball for over 20 minutes. For 22, what did they have the ball for almost 23 minutes, I guess, or 22 minutes. I'm not exactly the exact time. Dallas had the ball the other 37 minutes. So, I mean, it's the time of possession was well in Dallas's favor, but you gave up a 49 burger and you gave up over 600 yards. And I know they had the deficiency and we had the injuries, but and people are gonna say, well, Kayvon Thibodeau also went out in the third, started the third with the concussion, but he was a no-show in the first quarter anyways, the first half anyways, before the concussion. Boogie Basham at times looked like he generated more of a pass rush than Kayvon did. And we were having mental areas. This loss was very Judgian. And that's sad to say. It really is very Judgian. You had Bobby Okereke, who had a good game, but he also gave up some big pass plays. It was funny because James Wayne thought Jake Ferguson was going to have a big game today. He did have 4 catches for 26 yards and a touchdown. You had Cooks had 173 yards. Lamb had 151 yards. Dak throws for over 400. They rushed for over 169 yards. I mean, it was a defensive failure all around. I mean, it wasn't even close. Again, we had 0 sacks, only 2 tackles for losses. We did have a bunch of sacks against us. I don't know why Andrew Thomas was still out there at certain points in times in the third and fourth quarter when this game is lost. You had some plays in the secondary with the interceptions by Flott and Holmes, but it was just there was no momentum. There was no sustaining anything. There was nothing that was that you looked at this Giant team and said they did this well. The thing they did the best was run onto the field and run off the field for the game. And one thing they did really well was give up over 600 yards. You see a lot of talent on this team that is probably not made for the NFL. And I think it's interesting that we had more salary cap space this year than we did last year. We had additional draft picks, of course, because this is Joe Schoen's second draft. And the talent on this team right now looks less. And I get worried at times when you take a look at Brian Daboll's face. He's got this look of defeat on his face. And I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but it's interesting that he has this look on his face that he's just kind of over it. And he doesn't have that same vinegar and that piss and vinegar and fire that he had the additional weeks. And of course, that's always because of the fact that, you've already lost 8 games. You're 2-8, 10 games, 7 games left in the season. You had Tommy DeVito at quarterback. Your savior is going to be Matt Barkley. I do not think that Tyrod Taylor's coming back. And honestly, you feel bad for certain guys in this team. I feel bad for Saquon Barkley. I feel terrible for Saquon Barkley. Poor Saquon's still running with purpose. 13 carries, 66 yards, over 5 yards carries, had the big run for 21. He's still running for purpose on a bad team. Do you think he's kicking himself that he signed that franchise tag, that he didn't kind of stick to his guns and be like, listen, I'm out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go to a winning organization. And then I was thinking about it in the annals of New York sports history. Has there been this serendipitous of a drop? Most of us intelligent fans knew the Giants were going to make the playoffs this year. We knew it. We called it. I even said, I don't know, even going the preseason. I don't know how many games we're going to win, but I also know we're not going to win a lot and we're not making the playoffs. You kind of just knew that. But did you think it was going to be this bad against a division rival? Even with Tommy DeVito at quarterback, and Tommy DeVito was not an NFL quarterback. He did one thing that Daniel Jones couldn't do this year, and that's put up a touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys. But like I said, if we take a look at this team, we take a realistic look at this team, we look in the mirror, we totally suck.
That's what she said.
And there's not much else to do it. And like I said, there is not it's getting a little disconcerting, the fact that there seems to be less NFL talent on this roster than there was last year, and it's a second year under Joe Shane in his regime in reference to bringing in talent. JMS looked terrible today. Hawkins looked terrible today. Banks actually Banks looks like a player, but it's just, and I know it's against the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys are going to the playoffs. I know they're 6-3 now. I know they're head and shoulders of the division, but I want to see a little fight. I did want to see a little fight, and there was not a lot of fight in this dog. And that's what is more concerning to me. It's not the size of the dog, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And our dog looks like a chihuahua right now. We're going to have another video on Monday, really wrapping all this up and taking a look at it. And again, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.